Palestinian health officials say overnight Israeli strikes on Rafah in southern Gaza have killed at least 67 people. As concern grows, Israel will soon launch a full-scale ground invasion. Over 1 million displaced Palestinians have sought refuge in Rafah, which borders Egypt, after Israel claimed it was a safe zone. Palestinians in Rafah say a mosque and several houses were hit by the overnight Israeli strikes.
It was an Apache firing with a really loud noise. The F-16s fired, the Cobra, the drone, all kinds of aircraft. Terror, terror, so much terror. They wiped out mosques, people, and displaced people. They kept saying, go to Rafah, go to Rafah, and people came here. And then you target them?
Over the weekend, Israel carried out numerous airstrikes in Rafah, including one that leveled a 5-story home, killing at least 8 people.
My sister and her husband are sleeping in their room, and my mother and my other sister with her children in the living room. Me and my father in the room over here. Suddenly, a rocket fell on us. My sister, her husband, and their children, including my niece, who is 2 months old, all gone.
The overnight airstrikes came as Israeli forces carried out an operation in Rafah to free 2 Israeli Argentine hostages who were found to be in good condition. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces increasing pressure at home to secure the release of the remaining hostages in Gaza. Earlier today, a relative of the 2 men freed in Rafah called for Israel to reach a deal now.
And we know about the discussions in Cairo or in Paris and others between the Hamas, between Israeli, with the mediators. Please be serious and strike a deal. The Israeli people needs the deal done. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. We want it done as soon as possible in order to give us some breathe. We must breathe a little bit here.
On Sunday, President Biden spoke by phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, warning against Israel launching a ground invasion of Rafah. Aid agencies fear the offensive would cause massive casualties, while UNICEF has warned an escalation of Israel's attacks in Rafah will cause hunger and disease to skyrocket. Hamas cautioned an Israeli invasion of Rafah will torpedo ongoing negotiations for a truce. Authorities in Egypt have also threatened to suspend a key peace treaty with Israel if Rafah is invaded. For more, we're going directly to Rafah to speak with Duha Latif. She's a 29-year-old teacher from Gaza trying to evacuate Rafah with her young children, 6-year-old Amir and 1.5-year-old Karim. Duha, welcome to Democracy Now!, especially under these difficult circumstances. We appreciate you being with us. You are a native of Rafah. Can you describe the situation there now?
Hello, Amy. Thanks for hosting. I'm sure most of you saw the news yesterday and what happened in Rafah. It was the worst night in my life, and I really cannot believe that I am still alive. And actually, situation here is very terrible. Rafah is a small city, and now 1.5 million people in Rafah, and Rafah is just 55 square kilometers, which means that per square kilometers in Rafah, they around 24,000 Palestinians. Just imagine this, Amy. Therefore, it's very difficult to get food, water, or medicine, in addition to the spread of diseases because of large population. Also, Rafah is a city with no hospital, no electricity, no bakeries since 4 months. This is the situation here.
You are 29 years old. You're a teacher, Duha, in Rafah?
Right. Yes, that's right.
The city has swelled to 4 times the population. Can you talk about your attempts to get out with your 2 little ones, your 1.5-year-old and your 6-year-old?
The issue of leaving Rafah and evacuation to Egypt is very complicated, and it's very, very expensive because we need the approval of the Egyptian side to grant us exit arrangements, which cost a large amount of money. And this is what we don't have at the present time. And this is what got me created a GoFundMe account, because we don't have money to get out from Gaza.
What do you mean? How much money does it cost to leave Gaza? What are you raising money for?
In fact, I can't determine that exactly, but I can tell you that the amount required to be paid to exit Gaza is considered somewhat high, very high, especially in our current case. This amount includes the travel costs and expensive coordination, in addition to what is required when we arrive in Egypt side. Of course, if we're still alive, such as renting a place to stay and buy clothes and food and children needs, actually, we don't know to whom this money goes, and I cannot mention specific side, but what I know, it's that we have to pay this amount for one of Egyptian offices.
Can you talk about your little ones and how they are processing what's happening right now? Do you hear bombing, shelling around you?
Yes, yes. Last night, maybe you see this in the news. It was terrible, and we are that my children was scared all the night, and they crying, and maybe you see what happened in the news, and what happened really is very, very hard and difficult.
I'm wondering if you heard the relative of the two Israeli-Argentine hostages who the Israeli military freed in Rafah. Their relative said, please have a truce now. It is not enough that you have freed our two loved ones.
Yes, no, I don't hear this. And I am like you. I hear this just from the news.
So if you can talk about, at this point, what message you have for President Biden. You may have heard that his aides are saying that he's made mistakes in dealing with the Middle East. What message do you have for President Biden?
I will send a message. I have two children, and they are always nervous and afraid from the voices they hear around us, and always ask me questions. I don't have the answer for it. Mom, when can we get out? Mom, when we will eat burger? Mom, when we can go back to school? And it's difficult to calm children while the mother needs somebody to calm her. So my message to President Biden, we are innocent civilians and we have no fault in what is happening. Our children deserve to live a normal life like the rest of the world's children. Just one word, President Biden, ceasefire now. You have the power to make it happen right now.
And Duha, do you have access to clean water? Also, have you taken in refugees from other parts of Gaza at this point into your own home?
And actually, Amy, yes, I have, but there is only canned food, beans and tuna. For 4 months, my children are in a growing stage and need healthy and useful food like egg, milk, fruits, and all of this doesn't exist at the present time. There is no clean water because of this. My young son Karim, 1.5 years, suffered from intestinal catarrh, and also there is no medicine for this. Also about the refugee, yes, our situation, like the situation of thousands people here in Rafah. Yes, I have many refugees in my home. They are my relatives from Gaza and northern Gaza. Every home in Rafah is full of refugees.
Well, I thank you so much for taking this time speaking to us from Rafah.
Amy, I want just to say a word, can I?
Yes.
We are urgently trying to leave Rafah, but we need money to leave. We have a GoFundMe account. If people want to support us by donating or sharing or help my family, we need to leave to keep my family safe.
Well, Duha Latif, I thank you so much for being with us. 29-year-old teacher from Rafah, trying to evacuate there with her young children, her 6-year-old Amir and her 1.5-year-old Karim.